on this side. And so folks, this is the only program that extends past Wyandotte County. We also offer a community kitchen where folks can get a hot breakfast or a hot lunch Monday through Friday. Many folks are familiar with our location. It used to be an old Wendy's right here on 7th and Kansas Avenue. This program, no questions asked. We see a lot of folks experiencing homelessness, as well as some of our work community come in and enjoy a meal. We have a great group of volunteers that provides those meals. And then probably the program that most people have heard the most about, we converted our old thrift store into what we now call our community market. And this is really not dining with dignity, but shopping with dignity when it comes to the pantry model. This is our way of redefining food pantries in the 21st century to ensure that folks are really getting access to the things that they need, and putting fresh fruits and produce at the top of that list by ensuring that those things are available at a lower price, at a lower point value when they're shopping within our community market. Then the other big category that we have is housing. And so we do everything from rent and utility assistance to housing case management and supportive services for folks who have interacted with the homeless system multiple times, to really make sure that we're not only just putting a Band-Aid on the situation, but helping that person really be able to stabilize their housing situation. Some of you may know that Crosslines currently operates our Wyandotte County Cold Weather Shelter. This is a collaborative project that we have with many of our other social service agencies that touch homelessness. But this is something that we have been working with our local UG and commissioners to make sure that on the coldest of nights, that folks really have somewhere to go. All of this work, if you remember Don Blakely or you have heard of him, it meant more to him to not just only be providing services, but the advocacy part that goes with that. And so our advocacy efforts have led us to lead in partnership with the health department and many other partners, the CHIP Community Health Improvement Plan, Safe and Affordable Housing Action Team. And so I have the pleasure to serve as the staff lead on that project. We are in our 5th year, and these things on the screen are 4 of the strategies that we're focusing on that we know can address some of the systemic and racial issues related to housing in our community. And I'll quickly go over them. One is the creation of a community land trust. This work is really led by the wonderful folks at CHWC, Community Housing of Wyandotte County. I am excited to say that we have our first CLT in Wyandotte County, and you can go to their website to learn a little bit more about that. We are working on the development of a Wyandotte County homeless response plan. This plan includes both short and long-term solutions to addressing homelessness in our community. Our action team, as well as Crosslines, believes that we can end unsheltered homelessness in the next 5 to 10 years, but we have to truly have a plan that is both led by the community, but has your input as well. So we look forward to coming back in the future to share opportunities for you all to hear the plan, to understand and ask questions, or whatever that may look like as well. And then we have the Landlord Risk Mitigation Fund. And so there is a lot of stigma around vouchers and housing programs and those sorts of things. And so this mitigation fund really would be a resource for both landlords as well as tenants to make sure that folks are able to utilize housing vouchers here in Wyandotte County, and that we're not leaving money on the table, essentially, at the federal level. And then lastly, our action team works to develop and disseminate information. Something we most recently came up with was a tenants' rights and responsibilities toolkit, really helping tenants understand their rights as a tenant here in Wyandotte County. The work that, oh, I almost jumped to my other slide before I got to it. But just a little bit about the impact that Crosslines has had in 2022. We have served over 62,000 meals in our community kitchen. We've provided rental assistance for 600 people, sorry. And then we have served 11,586 households with groceries through our community market. The work that we do here at Crosslines, we could not do without our amazing volunteers. And we have volunteers from corporations, local businesses, civic groups, Girl Scouts, all the way up to volunteers, individuals who just want to volunteer and help and contribute to the work that we're doing here at Crosslines. So I would encourage you, whether it's a small group, big group, 1 hour, 2 hours, if you have that time to give, we most definitely appreciate it, and we could not do it. That also could look like hosting a volunteer drive to support our market. And then lastly, if you were following along with the history lesson at the beginning of this, you would have done the math to figure out that this year we are celebrating our 60th anniversary. It is an exciting time at Crosslines. And so we invite you to participate in our upcoming Gala for Hope, taking place on Friday, September 29th. Of later on this year at the View at Briarcliff. If you want to come celebrate us, I encourage you to reach out to our Director of Development and Communications, Ms. Kelly Goff, and her email is there as well. All right, I know it was quick, short, and fast, but that was all that I had today. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those as well.
Sure. Thank you, Rachel. There was one in the chat from Rose. She said, can you go into further detail on the Landlord Risk Mitigation Fund?
Yeah, so what I can share, and it is a little bit of a lot, and I'm happy to follow up individually with Rose as well. So the Landlord Risk Mitigation Fund, there are two issues that we have here in Wyandotte County, is that our housing authority currently has the capacity to provide 1,600 vouchers to vulnerable populations in our community who need access to housing. Currently, we are only distributing about 1,200 of those vouchers. So that's roughly 400 vouchers that go unused from our community. And the issue there is both housing stock. So do we actually have the locations where folks can utilize those vouchers? And then the other part of that is stigma around the perceived user of the voucher, and that folks who have housing vouchers will damage properties. Folks who have housing vouchers will dip out on the rent. And so really, this Landlord Risk Mitigation Fund is to continue to destigmatize the utilization of vouchers, but also to provide the landlords with a little bit of understanding that if that sort of thing was to happen, that we would be willing to support. That this fund would be able to support you with those missed rents or those types of things that I previously mentioned, the why behind the program. What I can tell you is most communities that have implemented this fund have not seen the number of instances that the fund is utilized, because a lot of those things, as I mentioned, are just myths and stigma attached to who utilizes those programs. And so, yeah, does that answer the question? All right. Yes, I will gladly send you an email, Rose.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions either here in this room or from anyone online?
All right, it sounds like I did my job. So
Yeah.
thank you so much
Thank
for
you
having
so
me.
much.
Feel free to follow up if you have any additional questions. I'll drop my email in the chat, but thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us today. All right, so next up, we have our department updates. I had to adjust a few just because of some time constraints for folks that needed to head out of our meeting a little bit early. Again, we'll try to keep them fairly short, 3 minutes or less. I'm not going to time you, but just a heads up. We'll start with our Department of Planning and Urban Design.
Thank you, Kayla. Good morning, everybody. My name is Gunnar Hand. I'm the Director of Planning and Urban Design for Unified Government of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas. I have 3 updates that I wanted to share today before I unfortunately have to hop off. I got a little bit of time, but I have to hop off a little early for one of these meetings. First and foremost, some of you may have heard, and I think we've presented in the past couple times to this group regarding creation of a short-term rental ordinance for the unified government. We've had several public hearings on this, and at the last one, the City Planning Commission basically sent us back to do some additional work. And effectively what they're asking us to now do is to codify the existing protocol for short-term rentals for special use permits. So it's a bit of a pivot from some of the previous presentations you may have heard about the direction we were thinking we would recommend going or had recommended going to both the Board of Commissioners and our City Planning Commission, and they've kind of sent us in a new direction. So I just want to let everybody know that we'll be back at the March 13th Planning Commission. And if that moves forward, we'll be at the March 27th Administrative and Human Services Standing Committee. And then again, if that moves forward, potentially at the what would be the March 30th, I believe, Board of Commissional Planning and Zoning hearing. So that's kind of our track right now in terms of the short-term rental ordinance. Just want to let everybody know that we've made some slight adjustments to what we had been discussing previously. Happy to take any questions on that after my updates. I think I have 30 seconds left. The second one I wanted to announce is the UG has launched request for qualifications, request for proposals process on 3 unified government-owned sites. One is the Indian Springs Mall. There's a site downtown that we colloquially call the Triangle Parcel, and then another one at 18th and Quindaro. We have an event planned for developers next Tuesday. It's kind of a pre-bid webinar type thing, a very early touch with the focus to the development community, but obviously it's open to everybody. I'm going to add the registration page in the chat right now. I can't believe I'm doing
Gunnar, I can post that
once.
for you too.
Oh, okay. Wow. I was impressed that I was doing 2 things at once. But that meeting will sort of introduce those 3 sites a little bit more, talk about the process. We're planning an actual mandatory pre-bid conference at the end of March, and then an expectation of the release of the RFQ or request for qualifications in early April. So learn a little bit more about that, starting with that webinar next Tuesday. And then the last thing really quick, I apologize. I wanted to just give an update on the land bank policy update. Again, the conversation I think that we've discussed at this forum before, and happy to discuss more, looking forward to discuss more on is in regards to steps after the outreach process has sort of come to a close. Obviously outreach community engagement is an ongoing process. Starting actually this afternoon, the Board of Commissioners, it's actually technically the Land Bank Board of Trustees subcommittee on Land Bank policy update, that's a mouthful, is having their first of planned 4 right now meetings to discuss the policy update and different conversations. They will not be the same meeting, they will be progressive meetings. So if you all are interested in where the land bank policy is moving forward, the first one, and that might be, okay, now I'm trying to do 3 things at once.
It's today at 3:30 p.m. It's a virtual and in-person meeting. You can come to Municipal Building, to the 5th floor conference room, or join via Zoom. And I put in information in the chat.
Also just dropped in the chat. Okay, thank you for that. And again, I think we're going to be sort of working with the commissioners associated with that subcommittee, and staff has helped them obviously through the outreach process, the outreach summary, we'll give an update on that, and then we'll start talking about certain policy issues, starting sort of big picture and trying to get more specific on certain things that we heard the community say wanted to be changed about the land bank policy. So encourage you all to attend those events or stay tuned for updates. We'll be shooting out minutes and things like that as those happen, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you, Kayla, for moving me up to the top.
Yeah, it looks like we have a question here.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yeah, I think so.
I do get notices about short-term rentals, approvals or something, reviews by the planning commission, and I don't know what that means. I mean, I've not been paying any attention to them because I don't know what that is.
Sure.
Well, as opposed to long-term, I never get one for a long-term rental, just a short-term rental.
A short-term rental by, thanks for that question. A short-term rental by ordinance is everything less than 30 days. Everything 30 or more days is considered a long-term rental, 6-month lease, 3-month lease, month-to-month lease. Those are all long-term rentals. You still have to technically register long-term rental properties with unified government. Short-term rentals are in the last, really decade or so, if you've seen some of the commercials even, these are Airbnbs or VRBOs. There's a host of other platforms that do this type of work, and it's really sort of really just blown up in the last decade with the invention of the smartphone and just creating that as an easy platform. And so those short-term rentals have to go through what's called the special use permit process, which is a review by the City Planning Commission and ultimately approval by the Board of Commissioners.
Okay, thank you. It looks like there's another question here.
Yes, I'm curious. There is a huge warehouse type building that just went up next to the racetrack.
Yeah.
Has 3 initials on it. UBN, I think. Can you tell me what that building is for?
Sure, that's the, I just so happen to know which one that one is, so I can give you a quick update. That is the Urban Outfitters Distribution Center. Urban Outfitters is a retail apparel company based out of Philadelphia. This is the only other outside of Philly offices and distribution center for that entire company. It went through a huge process, not just to entitle the land, but to attract that company from to the Kansas City region, and then 2 into Wyandotte County. So it's a gargantuan distribution center.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Anybody else have questions for Gunnar? All right, I'm not seeing any here or online, so thank you for your updates.
Sure.
All right, so next up we have the mayor's office. If you have any updates? No updates today?
Good morning. Thank you all.
Oh, there we go.
Stand in
There we go.
for Mayor Garner. The 2 top of mind items bubble up for me that I'd like to share. Next Monday is the mayor's prayer breakfast, and is at 7 a.m. at Memorial Hall. If you haven't received notification and are interested in attending, just feel free and shoot me an email today. And I think we do have space for a few. So if you are interested, do let us know. And that is on Monday at 7 a.m. at Memorial Hall. We also are planning to we have narrowed the search for the county administrator. The mayor has put forth a candidate to the commission. It's our hope that we'll be able to have a vote on that candidate at the March 2nd commission meeting. So 7 p.m. on March the 2nd is the commission meeting, and we would hope on the mayor's agenda that we would be able to advance that candidate for vote. So those are the 2 things that are happening, and so thank you all so much.
All right, thank you so much. Next up, I have the KCK School District USD 500.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good to see everyone. Myself and Marco are online this morning. We just have a few things we would like to share with you. Our Board of Education will be hosting a listening and learning session, and they will be held Saturday, March the 4th from 1 to 3 p.m. We're still trying to decide on the location, and we will share that and get that out. And then there's one Saturday, April the 22nd, and that's from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And that will be held here at Central Office. And the purpose of these listening sessions is the board just wants to hear feedback from the community about some of the things that residents may have that they want to share with the board on the things that we are doing well or things where we can improve upon. So those who are interested in attending, we appreciate you participating and providing your feedback and input. Also, March the 2nd is Read Across America Day. And we just invite anyone from the community that's interested in being part of that and coming to any of our schools. You can select the school that you want to go to, and you can read to our students. We appreciate you just coming and checking out our schools. And if you haven't done that in a while, this is an opportunity for you to do that on March the 2nd. And if you would like to do that, if you want to email me, I can make sure that we add your name to the list, and we can get you scheduled at the school that you want to read at. Also, lastly, for me, before Marco comes on, we have a panel discussion and resource fair. It's the Enough is Enough initiative that the school district has implemented along with our Kansas City, Kansas Police Department, our KCK Public Schools Police Department, and other agencies in Wyandotte County and throughout the metro area. There will be dinner served, but it's to have conversations about mental health, what I want to say, safety, some of the things that are going on in our community, and how can we come together and collaborate to improve the quality of life for our students. Because when students come to our schools, we are receiving them as they are, but our school district cannot do it by itself, and we all must work together to help ensure that they have the best education possible. So again, that is going to be at J.C. Harmon High School, March the 1st, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Marco.
Good morning, everyone. KCKPS will be hosting another career fair. As we mentioned in our previous meeting, we had one February 11th, and we had, I think, some great success there. We had at least 60 applicants come. So again, we're going to have another one, and it's going to be Saturday, March 4th, which is just around the corner. It'll be here at our central office. It'll be from 8:30 to 11. We're looking for teachers who specialize in English, math, science, Spanish, and SPED. We're also looking for 9 non-teaching positions such as paraprofessionals, instructional aides, bus drivers, nutritional service. It runs the gamut on who we need. So it's important that we fill in those gaps. Recruiters will have information on retention incentives, relocation assistance, tuition assistance for master's degrees. Plus, we have a great medical plan here at KCKPS. So it's a great opportunity, and it's a great team. And again, this is at central office here at 59th and Parallel. And you can go to our website. We have plenty of information on how you can, if you want to share this with others within the community, there's plenty of information on our website. And we just encourage you to let our folks know. I also want to piggyback on our resource fair that Edwin just mentioned. We've got some great organizations that's going to be there. The Urban League of Greater Kansas City, Children's Mercy Hospital, Revolution Educativa, Cross Lines, Big Brothers, Unified Government Health Department, and the University of Kansas Health System. So we've got some great organizations that are going to be at the resource fair. And we encourage all of you, if you can, just come out and just hang with us for just a little bit. The panel discussion towards the end, we're hoping that it'll enlighten some folks, and it'll bring out a discussion about violence in our community. Plus, there's food. You can't beat that. So that's all I've got.
I just want to add one more thing. I just want to remind everyone that if you go to our website, we have a newsroom that has some really, really, really awesome stories and great things that are going on. You know, negativity, as we all know, has a long shelf life, right? But, you know, there's a lot of great positive things that are going on in the school district. And if you can see some of those stories that we have shared on our website, I actually put the link in the chat. So just wanted to add that too. I want to thank you all for your time this morning.
Thank you. It looks like there were a couple questions. There's one in the chat from Leslie. How do we sign up to participate in the resource fair?
You do not have to sign up. You can just come, right, Marco? Or
So
is
if
there-
you, if, are they asking to be on the panel or just to sign up for, to be a resource?
Good question. Leslie, if you want to elaborate.
Yeah, we have resources to help people pay for their internet bill, which enables people to do telehealth appointments. Sometimes people are hesitant to get, seek mental health services because of the stigma of being seen going into a building or something like that. So, being able to do it from home just makes it more accessible. So just wanted to see if that were a resource that you might want to add to your resource fair.
So Rachel just helped me out here. There is a sign up if you want to take part in it. It's in the chat. And then you can also email me, marco.johnson@kckps.org. And we'll make sure that you're a part of the resource fair. So there's multiple ways of signing in. But yes, we'll help you out there for sure. The more the merrier.
All right, and it looks like there was a question here in the room.
For the email address for the Read Across America.
Thank you.
That if you want to participate, to email him.
Oh, to email Edwin?
Yes, I can put my email address in the chat right now.
Okay.
If that helps.
Thank you.
Mhm.
She can't read that.
Oh. Once it's in there, we'll record this and we can send it out to you as well. And like notes and minutes if you're not getting everything in the chat. So are there any other questions or comments? All right, thank you all. Next up, we've got Turner School District.
Hello, good morning. I don't have any updates for Turner. We are underway into the third quarter. It's going well. We do have openings for positions like bus drivers and paraprofessionals, and starting to look into some different openings for teaching positions for next school year as well. So no updates other than that. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have the KCK Police Department. I don't want to skip anybody, so shout at me if I move on too early. Okay, if they're here, we'll come back. Next was Neighborhood Resource Center, and Greg said he didn't have much to update, so we'll go on to the next. Board of Public Utilities.
Hello, everybody. Good to see some familiar faces there. I like the way you've got the table set up at the Neighborhood Resource Center. That's neat. I hope to be in person next time. I'm going to be real quick, real brief. There's a couple of things. Now that I know there's a number of neighborhood groups I've heard from that are requesting speakers from the BPU. We've got a variety of speakers that can come to your neighborhood. We can do just kind of a general overview of what, the BPU, what we're about, so forth. If you want to hear about energy efficiency tips and ways you can save energy, we've got experts that can come and just address those issues and speak to that and talk about our electric heating program and all that. We also have others that could maybe talk about electrical issues such as how we generate power, how we distribute power, water distribution. There's a lot of options out there. So I'm going to put in the chat, but it's just publicaffairs@bpu.com. That would go to us, and then say, hey, we've got a neighborhood group. Just kind of how many people usually are, where it's at. We'd love to hear about this. So if it's just a general BPU, that's one thing. I would encourage some of the groups to, hey, love to have somebody talk about energy efficiency. In fact, one of my colleagues does the energy efficiency programs here at BPU, and maybe might be a good topic down the road here for this overall group at, when you meet. Because, it won't be long, we'll be using our air conditioners, believe it or not, and those bills will go up again. So we're always looking at ways for help you save energy. The other thing I want to bring up real quick, like, we get a lot of calls about the trash. My trash, when's my trash? When's my trash? The BPU, all we do, we're the bill collector for the trash service. That's handled by the unified government, the contract with the waste management company. So if you've got a problem with your trash pickup or we're not quite sure, just call 311. They're really helpful. And the unified government 311 folks can say, yeah, trash is delayed a day. Or, I'm sorry, your trash didn't get picked up. We'll get to you. The last thing is, in this day and age, there are scammers out there, and they are what we call, for the last 14 years, there's been utility scammers, and they're getting very clever, but they will call up people and they will say, hey, you owe this much money, and if you don't pay it right away, we're going to shut you off immediately. They'll say we're with the utility. They'll use software that says, it's called spoofer software, and it looks like it's coming from BPU, but it is not, okay? Or though even now the new scam is to say, and sometimes they're not real bright. They'll call a KCK resident saying they're from Evergy. And I know Evergy does not supply power to KCK, but you know what? Some of these scammers are not as bright as you and I are. So, however, we've been preaching the gospel on these scams since I've been around here at BPU, which is going on almost 15 years. We have only had one person, praise God, one customer ever fall prey to it. That's one too many. However, I want to let you, and the new one now is they tell people they got a refund. Give us your bank or credit card information and we'll get a refund to you, okay? The facts are this: BPU never calls and demands immediate payment or threatens to disconnect over the phone. Someone does that, hang up. We never visit your place unless we're in a clearly marked company vehicle and we've got a BPU ID badge that says who you are and where you work for, right? If you don't see a BPU car or truck, close the door and let us know. We carry proper ID. Our employees in the field never ask for a credit card from you. Somebody's posing as a BPU employee, tell them no, let us know. Always ask for an official BPU ID. And if you're not sure the person you're speaking to on the phone is an employee, even if the caller ID says BPU, hang up. Let our customer service department know. So the scammers are out there. They get clever. They think they're clever, particularly during holiday season. So just, I want to share that message. And that's all I have. If there's any questions, if not, I'll put my email on the chat if you'd like to request a speaker on a variety of topics. Thank you.
David, thank you.
David, can I request that BPU, that you put out a Facebook post about the scammers that we could share on our neighborhood Facebook pages? You guys are so great at doing some that we share, but that is a really good one for us to share out.
We will do that. Good idea. We do it, but it hadn't been a while, so I'll we have a brand new gentleman that I hope for you to meet soon that's kind of handling our social media. He's a born and bred Argentine resident. He's bilingual, and he's already earning his stripes, so to speak, by kind of handling some of our bilingual messages. So that's great. I'll talk to him and we'll start pushing that out. Appreciate the feedback, Jennifer. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. All right, next up, I got the Sheriff's Department. All right, we will go ahead and move on to the District Attorney's Office.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing?
Pretty good.
Wonderful. I am excited that I have no competition with Sheriff Softy today. You can just tell him I won outright. So let me just move forward with my quick couple minutes. First thing that I'm excited to announce is that if you've been following our Facebook page, we are excited to bring the youth court to our schools. So we have We have started the pilot youth court program. We have not expanded everywhere, but we're starting with Wyandotte High School and Schlegel High School. And Turner, before you jump on my head, 3 years ago, Wyandotte High School called me on a Zoom when I was in the middle of the parking lot of Lowe's, and I was wearing some sweats because I was working at the house. Apparently my wife says, DA and all, you need to get in this backyard and get it done. And these 12 students got me on this Zoom, and they requested that Wyandotte County brought a youth court like other counties across this state. And so that's why we started with them. I visited their class. We've been doing some research, studying and training, created a pamphlet. The district office has been involved, the district court has been involved, and my office has been involved, along with the University of Kansas and a lot of other people. And so this semester, we will start our youth court, one at Wyandotte High School and one at Schlegel High School. And those students that get involved in low-level crimes, we will be able to put them through a diversion program by going through the youth court there, and their peers will be the judge, the jury, the prosecutor, and the defense attorney, of course, under the tutelage of my office. And we will make a determination based off of those students' recommendation on what those outcomes should be, whether it's community service, whether it's cleaning the toilet, whether it's what, all kinds of stuff that will be out there. But ultimately, this is a way, as the data shows, for us to keep our kiddos who make simple mistakes out of the court system. Because the data shows the more involvement that they have with the court system and actually coming to the courthouse, the more detrimental it is for their future. And so we want to make sure that we treat kiddos like kiddos and give them that opportunity. Lastly, the Sunflower House, which is the organization that works with the criminal justice system here in Wyandotte County and Johnson County for youth sexual crime victims, and does their forensic interviews and things of that sort. They had their gala, and it was beautiful. Our very own Superintendent Stubblefield, who is one of the board members there, along with myself and several other folks from Wyandotte County, was able to enjoy. Wyandotte County had a great showing. Multiple judges showed up, and they raised over, I believe, $200,000 to help our kiddos and to help the victims of crime that sadly permeate not just in this county, but in this state. And so that was what I had, and I believe I did go shorter than the sheriff, so I'm excited about that. So any questions?
It looks like in the chat, there's a question from KCK School District. Is there more info on the youth court that we can place it in our Parents as Partners newsletters?
Absolutely, it is. We will get you guys some information. Jonathan is listening and he will get that. One of the biggest things that we wanted to make sure is that before we put it out there so that the parents can know, that we, really lined it out legally on what they can and cannot expect. I will tell you, just for everyone's sake, every person that will be involved in the youth court concerning a case, they will, one, have to be approved by my office, and two, their parents will have to sign a document indicating that they're okay with it. If they refuse to utilize youth court, I want to make sure you guys get this. What happens is the case comes to my office, and then we just prosecute it through my office. And so either it's going to be prosecuted in the courtroom, or it's going to be prosecuted at the school through the youth court with my office involvement. But all of these cases will be prosecuted. Nobody is getting off. We are just holding them accountable in a different way so that hopefully it doesn't affect them in a negative way in their future. Thank you for that question, and we'll get that information to you, sir.
I just want to add just real quick. I want to thank Mark and the DA's office for all their work and collaboration and coming into our schools and talking and meeting with our students. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for DA Dupree? Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got the KCK Fire Department.
Hi there. Good morning, Chief Troutman here. 2 items of interest from the fire department. The first is we're seeing a lot of illegal burning going on. So the residential open burn period is not until April. This is a very dangerous time to try and burn off, your yard debris. It's very dry, very windy. We've had a lot of them get out of control. We had some very large acreage burns, property damage. We do investigate those and make sure that anybody's property that's been damaged gets a report so that they can file a claim against the neighbor that started it. So do not do that. The other thing, we have the safety tip of the month, I would call it, March 12th, daylight savings starts. So, that means set your clocks forward, check your smoke detectors, test them. If it's time to change the battery out, change them out if you've got those 9-volt batteries. And that is it. I will send you the NFPA safety sheet on the smoke detectors here so you can include it in the weekly notes.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments on that? All right. I appreciate you coming by, and I'll look for that flyer on that information. Next up is the health department. All right. And then we've got Matt May with emergency management had requested some time. So Matt, you're free to go.
Good morning, everybody. Just a couple of quick seconds to talk about Severe Weather Awareness Week. That's going to start March 6th. There will be, and I don't have it yet, the National Weather Service hasn't provided me the list. There's a focus for each day of that week, but probably the most important part to everybody in the room is that we will be testing the sirens in an out of sequence time. It will be Tuesday at 10 o'clock. I highly recommend that if you haven't or don't go to your safe place, whether that's work or school for that time period, please go ahead and take the action. I mean, we're used to hearing the sirens go off on Wednesdays, but we're going to do them on Tuesday and Wednesday. I never miss an opportunity to test them if I can. So again, we're already in that season, right? We had thunderstorm threat just last week that had potential to be severe, and yet today it's 23 degrees. So it's just welcome to the Midwest, right? We're on that, what Katie Horner referred to it as the Zambezi Zinger weather system, which is where you go up and down. For those of you who ever are old enough to ride the Zambezi Zinger from World's Fun, I miss it personally. So that's the roller coaster ride we're on weather right now. But you guys, everybody, I recognize so many folks in this room. This is great. I really remind you all to brush up, get your kit together, make sure you're prepared to have to be out of your house for a period of time. Check your medicines. If you've put them in your kit, they're probably expired. Time to refresh those. All those little words of encouragement. And reach out to us in the emergency management department anytime if you need help with getting ideas for that. There's 1,000 different kit things on the internet. So you can go out and pull the parts that you like and the things you need, you're going to need. Or I basically go through my day and say, what have I touched today? Oh yeah, I might want some of those. And it could be food, or you look at me and it's food. It could be batteries, flashlights, things like that. So thank you very much. I appreciate not being on your agenda and being able to sneak in today. I appreciate it. It'll be the week of the 6th. Siren test will be on the 7th. And then we'll test again as our regular testing schedule on the 8th.
That's March 8th, right?
Yes, ma'am. Coming up.
All right. Well, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments for Matt?
I just wanted to say, Matt, just in case you missed it, Worlds of Fun is bringing back the Zinger in 2023. So it's reimagined. So just know that that's also happening.
Thank you, Rachel. And that makes my heart lighter. I just, I missed that bad boy. I'd love to see it back. That'd be great. I hope it has the same little tunnel drop. That was great. I always thought my head was going to get peeled off when you went through the tunnel. That was awesome. All right. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Last on the list of updates is Livable Neighborhoods. Our biggest announcement is that our office has 2 staff people, myself and Mina now. we're trying to get things back rocking and rolling. We're learning together really. So thank you for all your patience and you know, some things I've messed up a few times and you have to keep reminding me, no, this is how we do it. So I appreciate that, and we're trying to get our normal programming that has historically been done back up and running. Nina's trying to get our home repair program back going. And then we're hoping that maybe after we get a grip on some of that, we can maybe expand the programs or add some new ones, or we welcome feedback from, of course, the task force that really guides a lot of the work that we do. And we're advocates for the community, as well as, you know, a liaison between community members and the unified government. So that's all I have to say for Livable Neighborhoods. We now have time for community announcements of anything else you want to add, or comments or questions.
Hey, it's Rachel again, and I know that everyone is aware that February is Black History Month. It is a time to pay respect to those that came before us and those who are today's leaders and the future of Black history as American history, not only here in our county, but also across the nation and the world. So I know that it was not shared, but I have seen it in the Livable Neighborhoods newsletter, but I did just want to remind folks, I guess first I wanted to give my gratitude for those who have had events and celebrations that the community has been a part of to be able to continue to embrace that history, but also we have had a year of first in our community. And so while they are the first, we hope that they are not the last. And so just wanted to recognize that, but also the library is hosting an event called the KCK Pioneers, which will celebrate Judge Isaac Franklin Bradley Sr., who was the first African-American to graduate from the University of Kansas School of Law and the first African-American elected judge in Wyandotte County. This presentation will be done by his granddaughter, Frances Robinson, on Thursday, March 2nd at 6:30. And so I just, while it is in March, I still want to invite you all to attend. I know I'm looking forward to attending, and I'm just so grateful for the resources and the information that both our public library system as well as our Wyandotte County Historical Museum do to continue to share the stories of historians here in Wyandotte County. So thank you.
Rachel, thank you so much for mentioning that and acknowledging Black History Month in our meeting today. That we have some flyers from the library with that program as well, sent out in our weekly e-newsletter. It should be in there this week as well. So if you missed that information or want to share it out, you can find it there. There's several updates being mentioned in our chat. I'll just read them out here, but we will include them in our minutes and send those out when we have them ready. Strawberry Hill Pub Crawl will be June 24th with more info to come. The KCK Women's Chamber Foundation is now accepting applications for non-traditional women students for 2023 scholarships, and more information can be found at the link in the chat. Again, the senior tax rebate program that we're providing assistance for those programs, including free transportation, and you can call 311 to make an appointment. And there is a link. If any neighborhood is looking for a speaker to discuss how homeowner and renter insurance works, I have an Insurance 101 talk that I give to groups. It's not a sales pitch, it's an informational presentation. And if I can help, please let me know. And we'll include Jennifer's email as well. And then there's a link to the Parents as Partners sign up. Got some more information here from Ashley. About the public health department is hosting the Racism is a Public Health Crisis engagement series. If you haven't RSVP'd yet, there's still some spots, but they're limited. They provide you dinner. I've signed up for one next month, and childcare, which I was very thankful to have. Otherwise, I would not have been able to attend. Leslie mentioned here, we still have lots of flyers available to provide to neighborhood associations, organizations, schools, churches, and anyone else to help promote the Affordable Connectivity Program. This is a federal program that provides a $30 per month discount on internet services from participating providers, which is all the major companies. More info at acpbenefit.org. And Leslie, Mina and I attended a webinar about the ACP program yesterday, so we've gathered some more information as well. So we're happy to share that out. The link for prioritizing equity in Wyandotte County, dismantling systemic racism workshop is here, and we'll include that in the minutes as well. Sorry, I read through those really quickly. Any other announcements that anyone wants to make? You can make them verbally if you want, or you can put them in the chat. Who hosted that?
I wanted to, this is Francisco Latardo from KCKPS Communications and Marketing, specifically with community engagement and government liaison work. And so I just wanted to put in front of you three legislative concerns or topics that if you have a chance to address with your Wyandotte legislative delegation, it would be wonderful for you to advocate for public education. And real quickly, these are there's a lot of details involved in this, but I'll put my email on this chat if you want to have additional conversations about it. But one of the topics is high density at-risk weighting sunsetting, where possibly the sunsetting of that weighting that KCKPS depends on will have a detrimental effect on our ability to help provide services for students who are at risk. And so that's one topic. And again, I can't go into all of it because we would be here for a long time, but I'll leave my email next to in the chat. Another one is special education funding. As you know, this is a long time issue with the state not meeting up to its obligation, constitutionally mandated obligation to support or provide funding at 92% of excess costs for special education for the district. And so that is an ongoing issue. The governor has added special education funding to her budget, but of course there'll be some banter back and forth between her office and the Senate and House about that. So if you can speak to your delegation, your representatives and your senators about that and your support of that funding, that would be great. And then the last one is the big topic and very complex topic of expanding tax credits for private school learning and vouchers for parents for private school learning as well. There's a number of legislation bills in the House and in the Senate that's going to complicate really the school voucher conversation. That's been something that's been discussed now throughout the years. I can, if you have additional questions, provide you with more answers or even some resources that you could have in front of you to help address this if you have a legislator in front of you. For the most part, our Wyandotte legislators are fully in support of public education, but it never hurts to just bring this up with them and discuss these issues and let them know that you're on top of it and that somebody at the district is working on these things together with our consultant in Topeka, our lobbyist. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit of that, and I'll type in my address here so that you all have it in case you want to have additional conversations. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Could we do an advocacy alert with these three items and maybe a link to direct individuals who know who the legislators are? Oh, perfect. Okay. Was from Rachel in the chat to Francisco. All right. Is there any other updates or questions, comments? If we don't have anything else, feel free to speak up if you do. We are actually, I expanded the time to 10:30, but we're actually done at 10 this time. So if you have anything, feel free to email me. I can send it out with the minutes. I can also add anything that you want to get out quickly to our weekly e-newsletter. If you're not already on that and you want to be, send me an email, I'll add you. And it's a great way to get out quick flyers. We send out a lot of information about different events in the community. And I really appreciate you all for being here. And like I said, supporting us as we're learning what we're doing here. So if nothing else, if no other announcements, I'm going to go ahead and close the meeting. Thank you all for coming, and we will see you next month on the 4th Thursday, which is also the 23rd. Again, we'll meet at 9 a.m. Same thing, we can do hybrid with Zoom and in person, depending on weather and how you feel and if you, whatever's convenient for you. So it was nice to see you all today, and thank you for joining us.